Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live episode 4 edition of Beyond Stuff's Weekly Wrap. My name is Brian Chever, and today I have the pleasure to be joined by Luis Vasquez. How you doing, Luis?
It's all good, man. All good.
Well, we're doing this live stream unplanned and a bit late. I've been having a packed day working on some personal stuff and recording the Nonsense Stuff show. I was recording at somebody's place. I cannot spoil it because it's a surprise. It should be going up, I think, around Sunday, and I wanted to do this live stream because I wanted to address something that the whole world is talking about, which is the whole coronavirus thing. I made a post about it yesterday, I believe, suspending every guest appearance on in studio here. Uh, that is still the decision. That decision is still final. I will not be receiving anyone after maybe recording the debut episode of my Spanish show, El Chévere Show, which it is still planned for not for this week, for the next week, but it's not in set in stone because of the whole coronavirus situation. Now, I after I wrapped the Nonsense Stop Show recording tonight, I had a conversation with my mystery partner. I cannot spoil it because it's a surprise. I haven't announced them yet. And I was driving on my way here. I set things up quickly because I had to put everything together again because I brought all my equipment here to the other place, and I reached on a decision that I'll be temporarily going on a hiatus, at least for the all of the other shows. I'm gonna try to stay uh, focused only on the weekly wrap because other than the whole coronavirus situation here in Puerto Rico and around the world, I'm facing some personal challenges on my personal life, and not only that, but I'm working hard on perfecting everything audio wise and technology on the tech side of things here on the studio. Uh, it's going to be a little bit of a long hiatus for all the shows other than this one. That means the wrestling show that I have planned reviewing WrestleMania and the AEW's Double or Nothing are officially not on the cards anymore. And I apologize here live in advance to my pal Sergio and my other friend Greg, because I won't be doing those two shows. But it's for the greater good, not only for the channel, but for all of the content that I'm planning. I'm still planning on doing a wrestling show in the future. I will as well be. I was before the whole coronavirus situation. I was gonna start production on a very ambitious project that I have, which was integrating my photography page with the channel. As you guys know, I have a photography page on Instagram, which is Beyond the Pictures. That's my side gig, and I love taking pictures, not only of the beautiful places in Puerto Rico, but also showcasing some of my pops that I have in my collection. I'll be suspending that as well, and I'll be working on that for next year because I'm gonna be staying focused on working this and staying as well isolated because of the whole coronavirus situation. Because I work on a touristic place, so I am exposed to that. I'm not sick. I don't have any of the whole symptoms that one could have with coronavirus. But the weekly wrap, as long as there's something to talk about news wise, I'm
Mhm.
gonna stay on with that. So you can expect to see at least a weekly wrap. Uh, Hopefully weekly. It all depends on how everything works out. So, with that out of the way, there is a bit of news that we have received before the whole thing blew up. And I wanted to start with the serious thing, which is all of the conventions of movies, South by Southwest, CinemaCon, and everything are being postponed or canceled due to the coronavirus.
Yeah, no,
Believe
no time to die being booked to November.
Yeah, put to November. Not only that, Mulan getting taken out of the calendar, as well as many of the other movies like A Quiet Place. Most drastically, of course, is Fast Nine, which was delayed for an entire year. So I am not personally scared because I've been through the influenza and other illnesses that are similar to this COVID 19. So I know how to fight it. But I am exposed to that danger. So I understand the fear that people has. I am not panicking because thank goodness we're all ready for all that sort of situation here. But not only it has delayed and put on hold many of the movie releases expected for this year, it has affected many productions. Most of the Disney productions, like Shang-Chi, which is in production as we speak. Yeah, and every other series on Disney Plus. Some of the Warner Brothers projects, like some pilots, I heard are being postponed. It's hitting hard in the business. What do you think? How badly this is going to hurt the industry?
I mean, it is gonna hurt because I mean, it's nobody's fault, but with this whole fear and basically paranoia that's going on with the thing is, obviously people aren't gonna go to the movies because they're scared of catching the coronavirus.
Yeah, uh, and it's completely understandable. Wouldn't want to expose all of your employees working on a production. There's so many lives at stake. It's gonna have a ripple effect, of course, box office wise, to many of these films that are delayed. Uh, but I think the best thing is to take care of your employees. We saw Tom Hanks got had positive with the COVID-19, and his wife too. So it's something to take serious, not something to be panic about. We have to take things carefully. We have to think of it of everybody else. You know, I was around getting some of my normal things, and there was so much mass hysteria in my area. People uh, emptying supermarkets and everything, being selfish. This is not the time to act selfish. This is a time to be united and to act properly. You know, wash your hands frequently. If you have any of the symptoms, stay isolated. And if you have the symptoms and it's not hitting you as hard, you know, if there's no any like long complications and everything, don't go to the hospital. Just use your usual meds that you use for any flu and whatnot. Only if it gets serious, go to the hospital. But right now, we have to leave all those hospitals for the people that need it the most, the elderly that are the most in danger because of this. And it affects the movie experience. I was this close to going to see Onward, especially because the Nonsense Stop Show episode that I worked on was going to be talking about Pixar as a whole. But I wasn't going to expose myself to the chance of getting the virus and then going to the place that I recorded the show and taking the chance on infecting them as well. So It's not the time to go to the movies. It's not the time to
Not
go
that.
out, and it is hard, but stay at home. I mean, there's Netflix. Netflix constantly
Netflix.
putting things out there. Disney's as well. Stay with your family. Stay home, and most importantly, stay safe. Now let's get into the news of the we were going to speak about
Yeah.
today. One of which is, of course, Blumhouse is having a lot of success with Invisible Man, and now we're gonna be having a Dracula movie with Karen Kusama directing. Now, personally, I'm not a horror guy, so I cannot say anything about Kusama's resume in this horror world. But they made Invisible Man very cheap for a production like that, and they're making their money back. Even before this whole things, COVID-19 thing started, and I think
Yeah.
if they go with that same amount of budget that they used for Invisible Man, I think this movie is set to succeed when it comes out. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, I think they're going on the right way. I mean, Invisible Man was a huge success, so I hope that gets repeated again with Dracula.
With Dracula, yeah. And I'm not a fan of those horror movies. I mean, I'm telling you, I get scared very easily. Uh,
Right.
but I am looking forward to that movie's success, honestly, because whenever something of this magnitude succeeds, it means that the horror genre is reviving. After so many years of having these kinds of cheap jump scare films, finally it's time to bring in some artistry back to the horror franchise. Even though I'm gonna keep my distance on them because I fear them too much. One of the things that came out this week was that Disney is set to release Peter Jackson's Beatles documentary around September. This has been Peter Jackson's passion project for a while. It's about the Beatles, of course. And honestly, I like the Beatles. I like two or three songs of them. I love Paul McCartney. There's this one song that he released not long ago, and I saw the music video, and it featured Emma Stone, and it was wonderful. I think it's called Who Cares. So yeah, it's been said that they're gonna feature never seen before footage of the Beatles. What do you think about this thing of Beatles documentary coming from Peter Jackson?
I think it's interesting. I mean, Peter Jackson is one of the great, modern directors of all time. So, and since I'm a huge Beatles fan, yeah, I'm totally excited to see that.
I'm absolutely excited to see that. I hope we get to see footage of the Beatles making some of the songs. One of my favorite songs of the Beatles is uh, it was "Can't Buy Me Love." I remember hearing it first in one of the concerts of Paul McCartney that was transmitted in local TV, and then that made me revisit some of these songs. Uh, and I love the Beatles as a whole. And Peter Jackson, he's mostly known for this Middle Earth movies, so this is a nice change for him, of course. One of the other
Hmm.
things that came out this week is the trailer for Jungle Cruise, featuring Emily Blunt and The Rock as a pretty awesome tag team, of course. Uh,
Yes.
I've had fun watching the trailer for Jungle Cruise, but it reminded me a bit of Pirates in the sense that, yes, of course, it is based on a theme park of Disney's, but I don't know, the feeling of adventure in the trailer that I saw for Jungle Cruise gave me the good vibes of Pirates 1 back to me, and I cannot wait to see this tag team. What do you think about this trailer?
Yeah. You know, it was a lot of fun seeing it, but overall the movie, I have low expectation due to the fact that I think it came out the previous year, the previous Jumanji movie, so it's like, okay, how are they gonna step this up? So my expectation for this movie is still like I'll be surprised if it comes out good like the previous movies, but as long as it's fun, then it's okay with me.
No, no, I think that's all that matters. It's about having fun. I think as long as you can, take the fun elements of the Disney theme park. I never been to Disney myself. I'm wishing to be one day. I cannot wait to meet Donald Duck in person. But I seen videos of the Jungle Cruise and it looks like fun. So as long as they capture that same feeling of fun and adventure of the ride itself, and with talents like Emily Blunt and The Rock on board on it, it only promises to be fun. As long as it's not as bad as the other Pirates of the Caribbean movies after the
Oh,
first one, I think we're gonna be good. Uh, Now, the other news that I wanted to showcase today is the fact that we have finally news of the casting of Peter Pan and Wendy. Alexander Moloney will be playing Peter Pan, and newcomer Ever Anderson, which is I think Mia Jovovich kid, will be playing Wendy in the upcoming Peter Pan and Wendy film. Uh, I was surprised that this thing was gonna hit theaters. I think a project like Peter Pan is mostly better suited for Disney Plus. What do you think about
yeah.
this casting? Are you surprised that they're gonna take this one to theaters?
Yeah, I'm really surprised as well because Peter Pan is more like, strictly for kids. And after the box office bomb that was Hook, I think they should have played it safe to put it on Disney Plus. But hey, we'll see if it's also successful at the theater. So who knows? Who knows?
Who knows for sure? I love the original Peter Pan
Yeah.
film. I saw the direct to video sequel, and it was rough to watch. But as long as they recapture that magic of the first movie from back then, with a little bit of a modern day, I would like to see this take place in the modern day. But we'll see. I would have wished to see
Hmm.
like a short, 4 episode series of this Peter Pan. But I guess they trust whoever's writing the scripts for this movie. Now,
Hmm.
another thing that we're gonna go through the Marvel news rounds. I wanted to showcase them, together. One of the news was, and is one that I'm excited the most about is the fact that Richard E. Grant is joining the Loki cast. Now, it is well documented that I am not looking forward for the Loki show. I am so over the character of Loki. I I
You had enough of the fan base. Huh?
no, I'm sorry, but I think he had a wonderful death scene in Infinity War. I think that's my favorite scene on the whole freaking movie. Seriously, the fact that Thanos choked him to death, and we see it graphically how he started to choke until he's left breathless, and Thor crying like a little bitch on the ground with Loki's body. I love the whole sequence because it set up Thanos as this unbeatable and scary villain. So when I saw Endgame and then I saw this shit plug of Disney Plus's Loki when he escaped with the
Infinity stuff.
Tesseract, I hated it because I'm so done with this character. But they gave me a reason to watch by adding Richard E. Grant. I think he was criminally underused in the Star Wars movie, and
Yes.
again, the character you can say what you want, but Richard E. Grant every time he acts, he's just too good.
Yeah.
And what are you excited to see Richard E. Grant in this stupid show?
Yes. I am excited. It gives me a reason to see it as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, now another one of the news in the Marvel realms is that Mark Ruffalo he was talking about he was teasing, but I think he's basically confirming that he was going to be on involved in the HBO Parasite series. But inside that little news, he revealed that he's been negotiating for making an appearance as Bruce Banner in the upcoming She-Hulk series. Now, I have no idea if this is gonna go on this year because it was set to be on production this year. But we can say for sure that Mark Ruffalo will be returning as Bruce Banner in the She-Hulk series. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense that he will do that to the fact that he is the Hulk. You know, he's part of that universe. So he's and if they're gonna make a series about the She-Hulk, it will make perfect sense for him to come.
Yeah, but do you think they're gonna feature him for more than just one episode in this one? That's my biggest fear, though. To have him as a recurring character in the She-Hulk series when all the spotlight should go to She-Hulk, and they haven't even had news of who's gonna play She-Hulk. They were looking for a Alison Brie type. I don't know why they wouldn't cast her. She's wonderful in Glow, which is my favorite Netflix series. So and she's gonna be done with Glow pretty soon because the next season is gonna be the last. So they might as well catch her up. And I think if they cast Alison Brie, and this is me assuming I think they should go with it. I think she can play off well with Mark Ruffalo, who's a tremendous actor, and people are don't like this take on the Hulk in Endgame. I think it was a bit wonderful because finally we receive a little bit more, a little bit more less of the monster that Hulk is, and I see we see more of the Bruce Banner Hulk, and I like that they morph Ruffalo's face into the Hulk, and it looks like it's Ruffalo with powered up. I hope this version of the Hulk is the one that we see in the She-Hulk series. If you were to bet, do you think they're gonna do uh, She-Hulk as CGI just like Hulk, or they're gonna go practical with that one?
I think they should go with practical because practical, you know, it looks more real and looks more interesting. You know, at least from my point of view, I think they should do it practical.
I mean, if they can convince people that uh, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino are young as fuck, they might as well convince a CGI Hulk with a practical She-Hulk. One of the last news is the fact that in Thor 4, we're gonna be seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think this is a bit of a no-brainer ever since we see the end of the Endgame movie that we see Thor going off with the Guardians. I was expecting more like Thor having an appearance and a small appearance on the next Guardians movie, but ever since the whole fiasco with James Gunn being fired from the movie, then rehired and everything, they made they found a way to bring in the Guardians to Thor 4. Do you like this idea of bringing in the Guardians of the Galaxy into Taika Waititi's hands?
Yeah, you know, it will be cool to see them since they're all, you know, supernatural beings. It will be interesting to see them again together on the big screen.
I think the one I honestly I love the first Guardians. I like the second one. And I like their participation in both the Avengers films. And it is being said that the third film is going to be the last one. I think I would have loved to see the Guardians in their own movie before seeing them appearing in another movie. I don't know, because honestly, I don't want to hate the Guardians as much as I hate Loki. And I
Uh,
love those characters a lot. And my main problem with Loki was he just kept appearing on and on and on and on and on. I think in this new phase is time to bring in some new blood. Step away from the old and give space to the new. That's why I'm excited with shows like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. I'm excited for the Eternals, which is going to be a brand new story in this Marvel universe. Uh, and I want to see new. I want the Guardians to end. I want to keep Doctor Strange at least for one more movie, because I think after this whole Endgame thing, we need some fresh new blood and fresh new storytelling, so this MCU thing can go on forever. Now, I wanted to touch upon this last in order to set up the Nonsense Stuff show that's coming later this week. There's a new Soul trailer that was released yesterday, was it, or today? Uh, it's been a long day. And I'm gonna say, I was thinking that Soul was going to have a more jazz, more approach to the jazz music, with with it's your first black lead in a Pixar film. But I like that they're exploring the idea of death in Pixar, because and I think it's clever that they are not using any religion as the main
Yeah.
focus of this. They made up a new religion, which is the Beyond. I don't I and I like the eternal beings that were shown, like drawn in lines. I think this is going to be a fantastic work of art in terms of animation. I mean, we see the little souls and they look like your cutesy little characters from Pixar, but then we see the all beyond, the black and white colors and the eternal beings and all that. And I'm so excited to explore that aspect of the movie. So, what do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I think that is interesting. And yeah, I'm glad that they didn't choose the name specifically in order to make it more universal. It could be, a little bit controversial due to the fact there's a lot of deaths in real life with the coronavirus, but yeah, I would definitely check it out. So if they don't push that release date, whatever.
Oh, hopefully, because we already had Mulan pushed back and everything. I'm so worried about the Black Widow movie. I think it's definitely gonna move release dates, because there's no way Disney's gonna set itself to lose money on it. So if there's one movie that I don't want them to push back, is Soul, because I think uh, it's been lost that kids are not learning the lessons behind death. I think one of my favorite clips that I saw before seeing A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is one of the episodes of the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where he talked about death to one of the kids. And I think people in the animation world, especially in the kids content world, are very very scared of tackling these adult issues to and Pixar is not a kids exclusive studio. This is a movie that appeals to both children and adult, which is one of the best things that Pixar does, and not other animated studio does, because as you can see, Illumination is more targeted for kids, with The Secret Life of Pets and Minions, and the upcoming Mario film, I bet it's gonna be more targeted to children. But uh, Pixar has never been afraid of tackling real issues, with Inside Out, with Coco. That it touched upon death, but in the tradition of the Dia de los Muertos. Uh, I cannot wait. I think the chemistry between Tina Fey and Jamie Foxx, which is voicing the main character, honestly, it worked for me in a couple of parts of the trailer. I think some parts of the trailer didn't work at all. I think Tina Fey was phoning it in some of the parts. But I think it's a fun combo, because both of those guys are tremendously talented and extremely funny too. So we'll see with this Pixar thing. Well, we've reached the end of this live stream. To recap the previous announcement that I announced, uh, except for the weekly wrap, everything else in the channel is gonna go on hold indefinitely. Uh, I have a month, an idea of a month that everything else is gonna come back, but we're still gonna be here. Luis is gonna be joining me as much as he can here on the weekly wrap. We're gonna be talking if there's any news at all up in this few weeks of coronavirus situation. We shall see. Where can the guys find you, Luis?
They can follow me on Instagram, hashtag Luis Andres Potter.
And you can follow me on It's the Wonder on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Pictures, and you can also follow me in all the Beyond Stuff social media platforms, either Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Beyond Stuff PR. I'm gonna be making an announcement on maybe which month I'm aiming to come back into full production on the channel. But expect a new weekly wrap next week, hopefully. And I'll be see you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. And if you're watching on the repeat, thank you so much. Anyways, I'm very happy that we have reached over 72 subscribers. But we're waiting for the 100. If we reach for the 100 subscriber, and nothing bad is happening around, and when I can bring people here on studio again, I'm gonna be announcing a new show that I have planned for the channel that is gonna be so much easier to produce, and it's going to be so much. But that's if we reach 100 subscribers. So I will see you guys next time. Stay tuned for further announcements on the Beyond Stuff brand, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
See you.